This video will be over chapter 33, William Shakespeare case study. The first major topic in this chapter is the Elizabeth Theater. The theaters were closed down when the authorities found the crowd's behavior too unruly. To avoid the complications stemming from these unpredictable gaps in business, Shakespeare's trophy, the Lord Chamberlain's Men, decided to build its own space in 1599. The Global Theater, constructed on the model of a tavern, stood on the south bank of the Thames River beyond the city limits in the close watch of the law, accommodating as many as 3,000. Like Greek theater, the stage is made for spare sets. There was only a tiring house hidden by a curtain behind the arena stage, in essence, a platform that allowed quick costume changes between scenes. The stage was open to the sky to take advantage of natural light. Elizabeth Theater would have been 3 stories high, each story with a gallery from which patrons could watch. The theater was a highly competitive place that vied for public support as well as for patrons, sponsoring aristocrats who might order a private performance or commission a celebratory work. Traveling players hired men and boys who spoke their lines for pay. The second major topic in this chapter is language on stage. When the character Jackass in Shakespeare's As You Like It famously pronounced that all the world's on stage and all the men and women merely players, he may well have been describing the Great Globe Theater itself. Though it contained no elaborate scenery, the size of the stage and the structure of the building offered occasions for action. Scene after scene in Shakespeare's, it introduced by vivid description a speech about a battlefield or palace, a lyric evocation of a forest or the stars. There's no need for stage direction once the scene has been set in such elegant style. Lorenzo, the speaker, is wooing his heart's darling. The configuration of the arena theater gave rise to a convention of drama called the aside, a speech directed to the audience only, that the other actors on stage do not appear to hear. The aside can deliver background information to the audience without the actors having to set it out or act on it. It is used to create a connection between the actor and the audience to make them partners or co-conspirators. Another dramatic convention that arose in this era was the soliloquy, a monologue delivered by a character standing alone on stage. The third major topic of this chapter is Shakespeare confounding diversity. The business of categorization began only after Shakespeare's death. Critics tend to divide the playwright's composition for theater into 4 categories. Number 1 being histories, focus on the reign of kings from the past from Julius Caesar to Henry V. Number 2 being comedies, are plays for entertainment and as a convention end in the marriage of 2 main characters. Number 3 being tragedies, which are darker plays with mere complex characters and more dire consequences. Number 4 being romances, involve lovers whose potential happiness is complicated by misunderstandings, mistaken identities, and any number of other difficulties. These categories are loose and overlapping units. Even the darkest of Shakespeare's plays have some comedic component called comic relief. Many plays belong to more than one category. Problem plays which don't fit obviously into these 4 categories. The fourth major topic of this chapter will be Othello. Othello have come to represent evil, trust, and jealousy both in the old allegorical mode and in modern terms. Othello was most probably composed in 1601, and we know it was performed by 1604. It is then the tragedy that follows Hamlet. The original situation derives from a 16th century tale by Giraldi Antheo, which portrays the tragedy that ensues when an unnamed Moor in Venice falls in love with the woman Desdemona. Shakespeare fleshed out the main characters of the tragedy and to add new ones. In Othello, we see a brand of tortured soul altogether different from that of Hamlet. Othello struggles not with vengeance or abandonment, but with self-doubt and too much faith in the honesty of those around him. And that is it for this chapter.